Charli D'Amelio. She was one of the first influencers to receive their fame through TikTok when it rose up as a new platform. But some people really don't think the teen deserves the fame that she has. Does not change the fact that it happened, but today on Where Are They Now, it's the top 10 reasons that some grumpy people out there think Charli D'Amelio should not be famous. Coming in at number 10, she's picky. Now, I gotta admit, this one kicking off the list really does show a kind of legit reason why people might dislike Charli. One of Charli D'Amelio's earliest and biggest controversies stemmed from an episode of her family's YouTube series, Dinner with the D'Amelios. The episode that got everyone uproaring had the family sit down for dinner with that episode's guest, James Charles. The D'Amelios had their dinner made for them by their personal chef, Erin May. And let's be honest, having a personal chef is something a lot of people can't even dream of, so that's something, but it wasn't having the chef that was the problem. For one course of the meal, Erin May had incorporated snails into his obviously hard-made dish. But Charli and her sister Dixie D'Amelio were not at all subtle about their disdain for that, meaning they made grossed out faces and gagging noises, with Dixie even throwing up in sheer disgust and Charli asking for dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets instead. Both girls got a lot of backlash for their behavior, with fans believing that they acted ungrateful and rude toward their chef, and I can't really disagree with that. It was actually painful to watch, honestly. Comments poured in saying things like, quote, "Sorry, being a spoiled brat is not a sense of humor," or, quote, "Seriously, the disrespect and the lack of manners, wow." The whole incident caused Charli to lose over 1 million followers, which prompted the teen to take to her Instagram stories to post a tearful video that wasn't really much of an apology, but it may have been blown out of proportion since Chef May told the Hollywood Fix later, quote, "Those girls are the greatest, I love them, it was all fun and games." But the D'Amelio sense of entitlement is really the thing that doesn't sit well with people. It's kind of hard to relate to someone who has everything given to them, but hopefully this will change over time. Number 9. COVID. Piggybacking on the idea that Charli is entitled, it appears that in 2020, during the absolute peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, Charli D'Amelio and other popular TikTokers traveled to the Bahamas. Now you may recall that travel was strictly prohibited at this time, with people being stranded from their families, not allowed to leave their houses, and going a little stir-crazy, which makes the TikTokers' trip bad enough, but D'Amelio and her friends were coming from LA, which had apparently very strict stay-at-home orders at that point in time because of the rapid rise in cases. Both critics and fans alike were not happy, and rightfully so, because D'Amelio and her fellow influencers put people at risk, all because they have the means to do what they want. It's just irresponsible. But it also didn't go unnoticed that D'Amelio and several others on the trip were uncharacteristically quiet about the adventure on social media, which is just evidence that they knew their trip was wrong. It wasn't until they were spotted by fans that the news broke on Twitter, but the worst part is the hypocritical nature of it, as, just days before her trip, D'Amelio was on Instagram Live preaching to her followers about the importance of staying home to keep others safe. She even said, quote, "If you're using this time to hang out with your friends, please stop being so inconsiderate to others. You are putting other people at risk." End quote. It's not exactly a great role model for people to follow, and that's the problem people have with her. I'm not excusing the behavior, but I still think it's worth noting that she is a teenager, and speaking from experience, teenagers do dumb things. Number 8. Annoyed the cosplayers. In March 2020, D'Amelio and her friend Maddie Monroe decided to join a viral video challenge to dance like Chika Fujiwara, an anime character from, and I'm sorry if I messed this up, Kaguya-sama Love is War. Now, I have no idea if Charli watches anime. I'd guess not, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's seen at least one. But because of the apparently over-dramatic movements made by the TikTokers, the cosplay community felt that they were actually mocking them. Several cosplayers then took to D'Amelio's comments to express their disappointment, with one person in particular writing, quote, "We put time and effort into our cosplays. It's a coping mechanism for many of us, and y'all are straight up invalidating us." D'Amelio, unsurprisingly, was not aware that her video would hurt people's feelings, and I believe she even felt badly about it because she even made it a point to film another TikTok apologizing to the cosplay community specifically. She explained, quote, "I respect and love all types of content creations. I'm so sorry if you thought that I was trying to bully or bring you guys down in any way." Now, a lot of cosplayers were happy that D'Amelio apologized, and she probably saved some face there, but some of her fans thought the whole thing was blown out of proportion, and I for one kind of agree. One person even tweeted, quote, "It didn't even have an offensive caption, people are being extra." And what do you guys think? Number 7. Not a skilled dancer. Another common thing we can see under Damelio's TikToks is that she has apparently no talent, or that she's overrated and gets her followers and views via her looks, or by buying them in the case of her followers. We'll get onto that later. Almost every negative opinion I've seen usually starts with how the TikToker got her hundreds of thousands of followers for doing, quote, nothing. It is worth noting that Charli is a competitive dancer, and I don't think people are denying that. The argument seems more so to be that people don't think the recognition and followers she gets are proportional to her skills as a dancer. Others will agree that she can at least dance, but she isn't a professional dancer, and her skills aren't really as refined as other dancers even on the same platform. Technically, she is a professional dancer, as she makes or made money from using her dancing on the platform. The positive from this is that whether you think she is skilled or not, her popularity on the app has grown the interest in dance a considerable amount. I think most of us have seen somebody randomly making a TikTok dance video either at work or just on their day-to-day activity, and that's partially because of Charli D'Amelio. The other part of this is that she's used those skills on real-life dancing competitions and on television shows like Dancing with the Stars. So, I don't know. Number 6. Involved in too much drama. Another issue that seems to come up against Charli D'Amelio is that the teen has found herself in a lot of other headline-making feuds alongside her sister, Dixie D'Amelio. As an example, fellow TikToker Addison Rae was caught in a feud that most people might not even care about, despite the fact that they were friends. In 2020, some of Rae's old TikTok activity surfaced and showed her liking mean posts about Charli. Dixie then tweeted, quote, "the jealousy, oh my god," to which Rae quickly apologized for liking those comments, which had occurred before she even met Charli, and the girls seemed to patch things up. That's it. But the amount of controversy it caused online was actually kind of annoying, and this is pretty much par for the course. TikToker Keo Sear, which I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, got some backlash from Dixie after he tweeted his excitement over having drama to discuss on his live stream. She replied, quote, "imagine minding your own business," to which Sear clapped back, basically telling Dixie that he didn't have a sister to rely on to make money off of like she did, which is a low blow. But that obviously prompted Charli to enter the fray, saying on her podcast Two Chicks, quote, "you might say my sister can clout chase me, but I mean, what have you been doing in the Sway House, boy?" Here, the Sway House is a reference to the defunct Bel Air mansion full of young influencers where Sear previously resided. The point is, the uber-rich teenagers getting mad at each other over teenage problems or even personal relationship issues with Chase Little Huddy Hudson, and then that drama being pushed out onto the internet for everyone to take part in, it's just kind of incredibly toxic. Number 5. Her family are Republicans. Another criticism of D'Amelio comes from politics, which is incredibly surprising considering how that has nothing to do with her content. But given the tense political climate that she happened to rise to popularity in, her family's political leanings were absolutely used as criticism against her. Because of the presidential election that was taking place in past years, fans looked into the star's politics, and while she doesn't really show her opinion so much, the fact that her dad, Mark D'Amelio, ran for Connecticut State Senate as a Republican in 2018, and then rumors began to swirl that Mark was also a supporter of President Trump, caused some backlash on Charli D'Amelio. This was because of some old tweets that were liked by Mark, some that were making fun of Kamala Harris and AOC, and some were tweets directly from Trump himself. Mark's activity caused fans to wonder about the rest of the family. So, Charli's sister, Dixie, happened to have a photo on her VSCO account, and in the background, fans noticed a collection of Trump-Pence signs on the wall next to an American flag. Now, Dixie made a statement later saying that she was not a supporter and that the picture was not taken at her house. And Mark himself tweeted saying, "Joe Biden is my president, Joe Biden is our president, and we must all unite." Now, all of this did help convince some people, but the problem is the D'Amelios are allowed to support whoever they want. It's part of free speech, whether we agree with their choices or not. And honestly, this argument is against Charli specifically. While her family's leanings most likely influenced her, she could have a totally different opinion, but she doesn't talk about that, so it doesn't matter. Number 4. She vaped. You mean to tell me an incredibly famous teenager consumed a substance she wasn't supposed to? This is truly unheard of. Back in August of 2020, a video of Charli made its way around showing the 16-year-old taking a large inhale from a vape pen and letting out a cloud of smoke. The video itself came from a random unknown source and wasn't posted by anyone, but fans and critics alike were not happy when it made it to Twitter. The legal age for using a vape where she lives is 21 years old, so many were in in disbelief that their favorite TikToker could break the law like that. And to that I have to say, have you ever met a teenager? But all the same, when it hit Twitter, many people were not okay with the influencer leading with such a bad example, and that isn't kind of important. Although she is very young, Charli does have sway over people, and especially those younger than her. So to be seen vaping, it may make others think it's okay to do the same, but by that point it kinda sorta falls on the parents. I don't know. But the argument is they're all the same. To make matters worse, more videos popped up afterwards of Damelio vaping and smoking, adding to the controversy. It's not exactly surprising behavior, and it may not even seem that bad because it isn't, and the leak wasn't necessarily her fault, but it's still not a great example to set for those who call themselves her fan. Number 3. Inappropriate. Another big argument going against Charli is that her content is apparently inappropriate. By the age of just 15, Charli D'Amelio was repeatedly criticized for showing too much skin or dancing, quote, seductively in her TikTok videos. Paris Hilton, a gossip blogger, apparently felt scandalized about a TikTok video of D'Amelio dancing in a bikini to Sugar by Brockhampton. He commented, "Anyone else think it's inappropriate for a 15-year-old to dance like this?" That seemed to rub D'Amelio the wrong way, since she tweeted, quote, "I will continue to post when I feel happy and confident, so if me wearing a swimsuit at the beach is a problem, well, sucks to suck, doesn't it?" Damn. Okay. That tweet got Hilton into a spot of controversy, and he got quite a bit of hate online for his comment. Hilton later explained in a YouTube livestream that he had actually taken issue with her parents for letting their daughter dance to a song like that. At another time, 17 magazine came under heavy fire online when they promoted an article about D'Amelio by calling attention to an outfit she wore that showed off her underwear. Fans were upset with how the magazine promoted this 15-year-old in such an inappropriate way, and that is the part that it is not okay. The way people in the world interpret Charli's TikToks and her in general. On Twitter, Charli shared a particularly bad comment that read, "This is how girls become blank. She legit posts bikini pics and she is underage." This was in reference to a post at the beach. Now, I don't want to give too much of my personal opinion here, but I think if something like a teenager wearing a bathing suit at the beach makes you uncomfortable, you should probably be asking yourself why that is, because something tells me it's not that girl's fault. I don't know. On this app, there are lots of content creators who do absolutely use the app in inappropriate ways, and if you're offended by Charli, then you really ain't seen nothing. Number 2. Overcharging. Charli D'Amelio may be a big star these days, but back in 2019, she was still an up-and-coming social media personality, and that meant when she was charging her fans $100 a ticket for meet and greets with a celebrity, people were not happy about it. Forget the fact that the teen had enough money without those ticket sales. D'Amelio wasn't even performing a full dance at the event. She was allowing people to take TikTok videos with her, but charging teenagers and kids, the people who make up her fan base, $100 just to meet you, it's just not a good look. It is worth noting, however, that once D'Amelio discovered that her fans weren't happy, she did try to correct the error. According to insiders, it was released that she charged that much specifically for security to keep other people safe, which is commendable considering how many haters she does have, but also that she would donate the rest of the funds to charity. She even used the vlog she made about the event to inspire fans to also donate to good causes, particularly the organizations Carnival for a Cause and Breathe for ALS. Problem is, that wasn't the only event where D'Amelio fans were charged more than they felt was appropriate. In 2020, a number of fans were upset when they paid for tickets to connect with her over Zoom, but weren't able to join the webinar, which was intended to promote D'Amelio's book, Essentially Charli. While technical errors aren't actually her fault, a lot of people complained about how her team handled the event. But all I'm taking away from this one is that she has a book? Since when? Where's my book? I'm gonna make a book. And to end off our list, she has apparently been caught buying followers. When Charli was the first person to hit 100 million followers on TikTok, some people became a little suspicious. The problem was that this happened very shortly after Charli had been losing a lot of followers for how she treated her personal chef, that thing we talked about before. And she was losing lots at that time, like a lot, like a million. So for her to spring back up and reach the milestone in a short number of weeks, it seemed kind of fishy. This prompted people who really cared to go digging through Charli's massive follower list. And what did they find? Some people that were listed weren't actually following Charli. How does that work? I don't know. Well, people began to speculate that because of Charli's falling follower count, she may have bought fake followers to boost her back up. It's not entirely unheard of. Another clue that leads people to believe this is that with 100 million followers, Charli's average video was still only getting about 5 million views. It's an odd one, and one that we may never actually know the real truth about, but given the evidence, it's certainly plausible. Does it mean she shouldn't be famous though? I don't believe so, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments because this is the end of the video. Thanks you guys so much for watching. I'm Adam Andrews, this is Where Are They Now, and I'll catch you all next time.